And now Not Your Mum, with scenes that some viewers may find slightly icky. Seriously, it is going to be visual. You have been warned.
Hello, we are Not Your Mum. Now, as you may know, and you definitely will know if you've been watching our videos, that vaginal discharge is the gooey, icky stuff that comes out of your vajayjay at the beginning of puberty and carries on for...
in perpetuity.
Forever. Not like in one...
No.
Just like forever, just one day, just turn the tap on and then that's it. Like, no.
That would be unnerving. Depending on where you are in your menstrual cycle, i.e. when your period is due, discharge will either feel a bit wet and sticky in the pant region, or you'll only notice it after you've chucked your knickers willy-nilly on the wash pile, sunny side up, as my sister calls it, for she is a classy bird, and you'll see the kind of dried, yellowish, whitish discharge mark on the gusset.
We did warn you that this was going to be a graphic one.
Oh, it's only going to get worse.
Yes, and discharge isn't generally on your sort of top 10 sleepover topics, so it can be hard to know whether what's happening to you is normal. So that is where we come in.
Okay, so for roughly the first 2 weeks out of every 4, a girl or woman's discharge will look roughly like this.
Don't crack it all everywhere and break it all.
Can you see that kind of long, stringy egg white coming out? So yeah, basically looks a bit like raw egg white, i.e. kind of elasticy and springy. And sometimes you might wipe after going for a wee and you'll get a big long strand that will kind of connect to the tissue, but then you'll stand up and it will drop off the tissue and land on your inner thigh, just as you're pulling your stuff up, leaving you feeling all wet.
According to our very own Dr. Laura, some girls go to the doctors because they're worried that they're leaking wee, but it's usually just discharge. The way to tell the difference is that wee smells like wee and discharge smells like discharge. There you go, cleared up for you.
Yep.
Discharge smells quite different. It's sort of tangy and ever so slightly fishy.
Yeah. It doesn't smell bad. It just
Just
smells of discharge.
And just smells different to wee.
Yeah. So yeah, don't worry about the whole fishiness thing, because it is so slightly. I mean, if you have to stick your nose in your pants to be able to smell it, then nobody else around is going to be able to smell it, even if they're like lying with their head in your lap. Basically, no one can smell your discharge, okay? Unless you have an infection, no one can smell it. If you have an infection, which is usually when you have smelly bits, then it's proper fish being left in the bin all day. Fish smell.
Fish.
While
we're on the subject, washing your foof with harsh soaps and fragranced things, you know, these like Femme Fresh wipes, I'm sure other brands are available, will actually wash away the good bacteria and ironically make your bits smell worse.
Or more likely
to smell worse, because you're more likely to get an infection because the bacteria is bad.
It's a vicious cycle.
Oh, it really is. So just a little zhuzh with water. Just plain water is absolutely fine.
That will suffice. Anyway, back to egg white discharge. You'll be delighted to know. Now, the discharge in the first 2 weeks is sticky like this, that kind of blah, blah, blah thing, because it is designed to help the sperm swim up to the uterus more easily. Basically, apart from boys and weeing, vaginas and penises and everything that goes with them are all designed to make getting pregnant easier. This is obviously why it is so massively important to make sure that you use condoms when you start having sex.
During the second 2 weeks of the month, your discharge will become thicker, kind of like this.
Sort of creamier.
Can you see that? Slightly thicker, creamier.
It's making me feel slightly ill.
That is pretty gross.
That's not
Apologies.
a shed load of discharge, by the way.
It's just mayonnaise, isn't
That's
it?
mayonnaise and water.
Yum. Its thickness is designed to block the cervix and trap the sperm so that they do their job and get that egg fertilized. Sometimes it can get so thick that actually sticks, when it dries, it like sticks to your pubes, and your knickers. And then when you take your knickers off, it kind of rips the pubes out and makes you go, ah!
Yeah. It's like the body's own natural waxing.
Mm-hmm. Or just clump them together as well.
Oh, yes.
Just clumpy pubes.
Yeah.
If you ever feel uncomfortable or super icky from your discharge, then it's totally fine to wear a panty liner.
So those are your basic types of normal discharge. So when is discharge not normal? Firstly, let us discuss cottage cheese. Yay.
Oh man, that's so gross.
So gross.
Right, yeah.
If your discharge looks like this, it can indicate a yeast infection or thrush. This is basically caused by your bits region getting too hot and sweaty.
Yeast infections aren't serious, but they do need to be treated, otherwise it's just super uncomfortable and itchy and it'll just get worse. So this can either be done with a cream, a pill, or a pessary. A pessary is like a pill, but you stick it up your vagina.
Yeah. If you've never had a yeast infection before, then you might want to phone your doctor and maybe ask for a phone surgery, which is obviously when the doctor calls you back rather than you actually having to go in and speak to them.
Or even better, get your mum on the case. There aren't many women who have never had thrush before, so they will be well placed to give you advice.
Next, bloody discharge. And for this, sadly, we do not have a visual aid.
We could get some ketchup if you...
We could.
No?
No.
No one else? No, okay, fine, right.
Ketchup in. If you get blood in your discharge right at the end of your period, especially if you thought that your period had finished, then don't worry about this. It will just be dried blood. It's normally kind of brownish colour, wending its slow way out of your vajayjay.
Some women get a bit of blood around, aka spotting. Sorry, I had to say that. Important that it's called spotting. Around the time of ovulation. Ovulation is when the egg is released, and if a sperm were to meet it, it would fertilise. Ovulation happens roughly halfway between your two periods. If you've had periods for a while but you've never had any spotting, then it might be worth just talking to your GP about this.
Blood in your discharge at any other time is almost certainly nothing to worry about, but again, maybe give your GP a call in case it's an infection or something.
And finally, if your discharge is yellow, like an egg yolk, gross, grey, like when you have a hard-boiled egg and it gets that horrible grey colour around it. If you don't know what the colour grey is like. It's not all about eggs, I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah, grey, greenish, if it burns.
Smells funky.
Or smells funky. Then you should see your GP because that's could be a sign of an infection. So if it is an infection, it's nothing serious, but it's just worth getting sorted. But, you know, apart from anything else, who wants to go around smelling like an infected vag?
I know I don't.
No.
So, good discharge?
Colour, not
Bad
consistency.
Discharge. No, you don't want...
I'm gonna lay an egg.
By the way, if the dried discharge on your knickers is yellow, don't worry about it. It often comes out clear or white, but then the air turns it yellow. Strange but true.
Thank you very much for watching. Well done for getting through it with all the visual aids.
Yes, we have been a little bit sick in our mouth about 5 times.
Yes, at least you don't have to smell what we're smelling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, even the cat's upset.
Yeah. If you have anything to say about discharge, and who doesn't, then please put it in the comments. Or if you have an idea for a video, please put it in the comments. Thank you very much.
Bye.
And now, Not Your Mum, with scenes that some viewers...
Meow.
Oh, and it smells of egg. Oh, the smell of egg around here.
So eggy, it's making me feel quite queasy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, really. It's the smell of egg. It's not the it's not the visual so much. It's just the...
There's a lot of egg going on here.
I'm gonna go be sick.